the LOC from Lautech, University of Technology, Ogbomoso, in conjunction with Institute of Nursing Research of Nigeria. I want to say a big kudos to you. And I'm throwing this to you out there that you should make this something much more common, because having this kind of a summit is something so rare, and this coming from you is actually something worthy of praise and emulation. And in that line, I want to say welcome to I want to say well done to the facilitators and other members of the organizing committee. So let me check the chat room to see those that are on ground. Okay, I can see Adeniji Oluwakemi, Adetuberu Abimbola, you're welcome. Afolabi Olabisi, you're welcome. I can see you here. Daramola Rosli, you're welcome. Kachi Funum, you're welcome. It's glad to see you here. Joy Ugu, you're welcome on board. Prince Agedo, you're welcome on board. Lonis Lombard, my dear friend, you're welcome on board too. Monson Hester, I cite you. Moshidat Akombi, you're welcome. Oladepo Olubukola, you're welcome. Damola Roslyn, I can see you from here. Bola Tito Jawale, you're welcome. Adiyemi Aduragbemi, you're welcome. Olushola Omowaye, you're welcome. Our big boss, the Director of Nursing Research, is on here too. Mr. Oluwadamila Yakinbade, you're welcome on board. Oluwadamilola Fadodun, you're welcome. Oyebisi Oyelami, that's the editor-in-chief of the local organizing committee, you're welcome on board. I have here Rebecca, you're welcome. Tolulope Popola, you're welcome. Ruth Adenike Atoki, that's the chairman, local organizing committee, you're welcome. Taiwo Olajumoke, you're welcome. We all welcome everyone on board to this wonderful segment. Now, let me hold our dear listeners. You will do your friends and colleagues a lot of favor by calling them to come online right now, because I'm sure we all have a lot of people having the mindset of being an international nurse. I mean, to migrate out of their comfort zone here to explore the world out there. Of course, we all know this world is full of greater opportunity as a world. And I just say it is only when you live where you have to see what is happening somewhere else, that's when you know what's actually happening around the world. And it's so great to have Institute of Nursing Research and Lautech to have deemed it fit to include how we can have much in-depth knowledge about exploring opportunities in Canada as part of our program in this career summit. I can see Elizabeth Kimambo, you're welcome. I can see Kainde Olamoyego, you're welcome on board. I can see one of our gurus in the technical committee here, Olawole Oluwatobi, you're cited. I can see Suliat Obileye, you're welcome on board. Taiwo Olajumoke, you're cited. Victoria Emiade, you're welcome. Akimbami Beatrice, you're welcome on board. Now, I think I need to acknowledge the presence of our facilitator for tonight. And it's no other person than Mrs. Adeola Folorunso. Adeola Folorunso.
Thank you.
Aside to Ma, I welcome you. Yeah, it's a great thing to always keep early to event and program, and I really applaud you for that. She's been here before most of us that are even listeners, and this is something worthy of emulation. We appreciate you on that we don't have to start calling you up and down before we can locate you here. Yeah, it's something really worthy of praises and emulation. So we thank you for finding time out of your busy schedule to come out here to share with us this evening. And I'm sure the Lord God Almighty is going to use you to bless us powerfully this evening.
Thank you.
I don't know if she has been made as a co-host, so we can hear a speaker when it's time.
From what I can see, I think, yes, I've been able to do that. Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Excellent delivery from the technical crew. You're well appreciated. Thank you. Okay, without wasting time, I would like to go through the profile of our facilitator for tonight. Adeola Folorunso. Let me start with our educational background. Adeola Folorunso started her career in nursing as a registered nurse in Nigeria after she completed a diploma in nursing course at the School of Nursing, University Teaching Hospital, Ibadan, Nigeria in 2009. Due to her passion for excellence and knowledge, she relocated to Canada in 2011 to embark on Bachelor of Nursing Science at the University of Saskatchewan in Canada, where she graduated with distinctions in 2015. She has since then been working as a registered nurse to date, 2021. She obtained a master's in health administration with distinctions at the University of Regina, Canada in 2020. Furthermore, she obtained a certificate in quality improvement in healthcare from Harvard School of Public Health, USA, and Bath University, United Kingdom in 2016 and in 2018, respectively. In 2020, she obtained the designation Certified Health Executive, CHE, with the Canadian College of Healthcare Leaders. As a healthcare leader, she's passionate about improving the Canadian and the global healthcare system. Now let's go briefly into her experience. She has worked in various domains of nursing, in clinicals, research, administration, and education in both Canada and in Nigeria. And immediately after she graduated from School of Nursing here in Nigeria, she worked as a nurse researcher in Department of Psychiatry, University College Hospital, under the leadership of Professor Guruje. She also worked as a frontline clinical staff in Lagos before relocating to Canada. Upon graduation in Canada, she worked as frontline staff for 4 years before taking the role of a director of care in 2019 with Saskatchewan Health Authority, Canada, where she oversees the health of senior citizens, both locally and provincially. In addition to all the above mentioned roles, she took up a seasonal role as a clinical preceptor for final year nursing students and also as teaching assistant for the nurse practitioner program with the University of Regina based in Canada. She is also a facilitator for the interprofessional based learning program with the College of Medicine, University of Saskatchewan for health, health science students. Well, it's so happy. I'm so glad to have you here, man. And going through your profile, this thing is loaded. And I'm so happy that, of course, we are going to have the necessary and detailed information about exploring opportunities in Canada as nurses. Of course, we can't wait to hear you speak to us. And sincerely speaking, trust me, we are really, really ready. We are really, really ready to learn and to tap from a wealth of experience. It's not easy now. And I'm sure my other listeners too are ready to listen from you. So without wasting time, we'll go straight to the business of the day. We'll go straight into the business of today, which is career opportunities for nurses in Canada, finding your path. Career opportunities for nurses in Canada, finding your path. Well, I've heard a lot of people, friends, senior colleagues, junior colleagues, always talk about Canada, career opportunities over there. Well, from the little knowledge we have, we know there are a lot of opportunities out there. But then how do we tap into this race? How do we tap into this opportunity? How do we get our dream of getting opportunities in Canada actualized? We need information. We need to be enlightened. We need to know the right path to follow so as not to fall victims of all this thing all around. And that's why you've been invited here to come and impact us. And sincerely speaking, I'm so ready to learn. Personally, I'm so ready to learn for tonight. And I'm sure my dear listeners too are also willing and ready to tap from your wealth of experience. So without wasting time, so I would like to make the floor open to you to start with your presentation, ma'am. You have the floor, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
I know, good morning, everyone. It's morning here. It's exactly 10:06 a.m. here in Canada. But first and foremost, I want to thank everyone and then even the organizers for giving me the opportunity to be able to present this morning. Honestly, I feel very connected. Ever since I've left the country 10 years ago, I've not visited Nigeria. So this is a form of connection for me to be able to connect with my people back home. So it is a golden opportunity and I'm not taking this for granted. So thank you so much for organizing things like this and then even making me one of the speakers for this event. So just a quick housekeeping, Brother Samuel, I won't be surprised if you're a pastor because the way you introduce things is just very phenomenal. So
thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, and I hope everybody can hear me clearly as well because technology can be funny at times.
Yeah. Can we hear her? Please let's signify if we can't hear.
Okay, perfect. Somebody said they can, so that's good.
Okay.
Just for quick housekeeping, if everybody can be on mute, and it's only if you want to ask questions, and then you can, giving opportunities so that everybody can, we all benefit from what we have to share today. And then also for question-wise, once I start sharing my screen, I might not be able to see the question directly, so I will leave that on to the moderator to. When it comes to question time, then they can read out the question and I can answer. So I won't be able to see that simultaneously. I'll just be focusing on the slide. And then I know I'm being given 45 minutes or I think 40 minutes for this talk. I might just do 30 minutes and then leave 10 minutes for questions. Feel free to stop me if I'm really, because there's a whole lot kind of like to discuss. Sometimes you just go, when people have questions. So yeah, I'll just start to share my screen actually. And can we all see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm just fine with Adiola. Ma makes me look as if I'm from the 1826 generation. I'm fine with Adiola. Okay, so I'm just going to introduce myself again. My name is Adiola Folorunsho, and I'm just going to be talking about career opportunities that we have in Canada. There's a whole lot, and it will be great we know some of them. My objective for this is I want to share those opportunities with you guys, and then also how do we even get to Canada in the first place? How do you even become a registered nurse in Canada in the first place to be able to tap into those opportunities? And then I'll be talking briefly about my own experiences, what I know, what I should have known that could have helped me even achieve some things faster. And then I call this section the plan and acts as well. And that is just the gist zone, what, things we could learn or something we could tap from. And then the last thing will be the question. So that's the way I will be done.
Okay.
So in Canada, basically, there are a lot of internationally educated nurses. Please let me know if I'm too fast.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes when you feel excited about what you're about to present, it's just that excitement tells in your tone too, right? So basically, there are different types of nursing positions actually in Canada. So a lot of people know that when they come to Canada, they have to be registered nurses. But sometimes during the process of you getting your licensure, you can also tap into some things that might be different from being a registered nurse, because the process itself could take a while. I know it used to be sometimes 3-4 years to even get to become a registered nurse in Canada, because the old system could be very clumsy and very long. But there is a process in place now, which I'm going to share when I get to that path, that section. But we've seen nurses, registered nurses, when they come into Canada, some of them switch to become a licensed practical nurse. So the licensed practical nurse are actually people that have like a diploma trained nurse here in Canada, and the program is just 18 months. And the reason people do that when they come in here is while they are waiting to become a registered nurse, when they are waiting, that process could be, like I said, could take longer. They tap into that, the licensed practical nurse approach, and that process is shorter. Sometimes it's just like a matter of 6 months. They get into that approach, that's becoming a licensed practical nurse. And then in terms of money-wise or salary-wise, it's kind of like, depending on the province, it's kind of like $5 less from what registered nurse would take. So people rather quickly want to tap into that while they are waiting to get the golden opportunity, that becoming a full registered nurse, because you have to survive, right? So people could quickly do that on time. That is the truth. When you're coming to a new country, survivor is very key. You have to feed well, feed your family, right? So you have to look into, what can I do while I'm waiting to get that my golden opportunity? Some people will just wait and wait and wait, and while you're waiting, frustration sets in. But you don't have to wait. You can quickly tap into something that it might not be the actual amount you're looking for, but at least something is coming in to be able to survive. So that is the licensed practical nurse. Then the registered practical nurse or psychiatry nurse as well. That one is kind of synonymous to the registered nurse's role as well. So it takes the same time or duration to be able to become licensed for that. And then there is the nurse practitioner approach too as well. Nurse practitioners are people that are masters based, actually. And so when you are a registered nurse here, you have your degree in nursing, you have to have your degree, and then you can do your master's. And then for that, some specialize in being a nurse practitioner. The only, when you can qualify to be one is after you have practiced as a registered nurse for 2 years. You need at least 2 years to be able to become a nurse practitioner in Canada, or 3,600 hours. So if you work a lot, your 3,600 hours might come faster. It might not be up to 2 years. So people go into that. So they are nurse practitioners. And then these people are actually very important in the healthcare system in Canada, actually, because there are areas where we do not have doctors. The nurse practitioners step in to become everything there. They do everything. They have that advanced roles to do. So it is a very prestigious path to look into if you want to really advance in nursing. And then the nursing assistant, and these ones are actually the non-licensed people, nurses. So basically, when I say non-licensed, they are the people that, you know, I'm not sure what we call them on the unit in Nigeria, like the aides, kind of. I don't know what they call them anymore. They used to have a name on the floor then. I can't remember anymore. It's been a while. So they are nurse assistants. And actually, they earn well too as well. So while you're waiting to become a registered nurse, you can tap into that too as well. So that means you're waiting, but you're doing something, you're occupied. And these people are found in government institutions. This is where I started from when I came into Canada. While I was going to school as a full-time student, I was working as a nursing assistant. And then that money I could use it to send myself to school. It was a good dollar amount. And when you're on holidays, especially on summer period, you're allowed to work full-time. But while school is in section, you can only work 20 hours. But while school is out of section, which is summer, you can work as many hours as you can. So I could make a whole lot of money and send myself to school as an international student for being a nursing assistant. And while school was in section, I was actually working on weekends. So Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. So I was making that money. So technically, you'll be surprised to know that even some so-called bankers do not earn as much as nursing assistant in terms of wages here in Canada. So you can tap into that while if you get to Canada, look for that opportunity called the nursing assistant. And it could be with the government. Please go with the government. And the good thing about it is that because you're already a registered nurse from your country, you don't have to go for programs for that. That already gives that opportunity. All you just have to let the manager know, or the RN person is already a nurse from your country, then they will let you be a nurse assistant. Because if you are not, you need to go through a program. It's an 8-month program. So because you're a nurse from your country, you don't have to do that anymore. So you're saving a whole lot of time, money, and you're tapping into that opportunity right away. And you're already building yourself into the Canadian healthcare system because you're working for the government as a nursing assistant. And most times, a lot of people who work in nurse assistant role are also, when they become a registered nurse, they work in that same unit. That it happened to me, like you're already used to it. So I started working as a nursing assistant in my first year. And when I was done with my 4 years nursing program, I became a nurse on that unit. I already know the policy, I already know the procedure, I already know what is going on. I just needed to step up to get more role. So it makes the job easier. It makes the transition easier as well. So you don't have to go into any, just anyhow jobs. If you're a nurse, you can tap into this immediately, especially the first one, which is licensed practical and the nursing assistant role. Okay, so now in Canada, there is a body that looks after all the licensed staff in Canada, or licensed nurses in Canada. So we call them the Canadian Nurses Association. So when you become a registered nurse in Canada, automatically you become one. Just like how we become, sorry, I've really lost touch with Nigeria. When you become a nurse in Nigeria, there's a body that is responsible where you get your license or something. Is it called National? I can't remember, sorry. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Yeah, so there is a body like that called, so in that, they have 20 different nursing areas where you can actually tap into. So there's the psychiatry, cardiology, mental health. There's so many aspects, depending on which one you want to. And then for this slide, actually, I can share the slide with anyone here. Like I'll make the slide available, and all the links. There's so many fantastic things on the link that I've shared that you can also look into, just in case I didn't touch everything. So basically, they are the ones responsible, and there are so many, over 20 to 21 nursing areas that you can actually tap into when you become a registered nurse in Canada. So now, what are those opportunities then available to us as a nurse in Canada? It is very common among registered nurses that they have to be bedside. It has to be clinical. Even when you tell somebody, you can look into this, you can look in that, they're like, oh, really, that's strange. I remember 2 years ago, I saw an opportunity, it's a scholarship opportunity, and I sent it back to a senior of mine back in Nigeria. And it was an opportunity in public health, actually, master's in public health. And then she said, Adiola, oh, no, I just need something in master's in nursing. Like, she was so focused that it has to be nurse. I was like, are you serious? Like this is money for you, like free education, come take it. Now, it tells me something that people are still kind of like streamlined to, like, it has to be a nurse is only relevant at bedside. No. So here, when you see licensed staff or licensed nurses doing bedside, you find them in nursing homes, so which it could be geriatrics, gerontology, home care. So the difference between home care and nursing home is that the home care, nurses actually go into the houses of the patient or the client to give them care. And most times in Canada, in Saskatchewan, for instance, it's part of our own aim to make sure that care services are provided at home. We're trying to do that. That's primary, bringing the care to the patient and not making the patient come to the care. So that accessibility. So the home care opportunities there. A lot of people do that, especially if you're a young mom or a young family. It's very, very flexible. So it's more flexible than going to the hospital. The hospital could be very tedious, especially when you work in acute care, or semi-acute care, depending on anything. Hospital generally could be very, very tedious. So if you're looking into, I'm a mom, I have young kids, or you just want to start slowly, you can go into that home care approach. And it's still the same dollar amount. It's not different. So even if you do nursing, home care, nursing in the hospital, it's still the same amount. You're doing the same thing, the same salary, but the workload differs. So you have to look at where you are and what you need to achieve at that period. And then there's public health. A lot of people also, you see a lot of young mom or the very old ones go into public health because it's very flexible as well. And then the timing is very, very, very flexible. Some could work weekends. And then there is the rehabilitation nurse as well, like where you work in the stroke unit as well. And then the travel nursing. I'm not sure if we have that in Nigeria. Maybe it is, like I said, there's travel nursing, very interesting if you like to travel within Canada or even outside. So there are agencies responsible. So basically, you don't have to do anything. All you just have to do is just pack your luggage, get your bag ready. They tell you how long can you go for? Some go for 2 weeks, some go for as many weeks as they want. So they pay for your flights, they pay for your accommodation, they pay for your food, everything. Just go, you just have to pack your baggage. So people enjoy doing that. And it's a lot of money. It's even more higher in terms of salary-wise. It's different from what the government will pay. They will pay you more, actually. So some people, they see that as a form of adventure, and at the same time, providing care that they still need to do. So there is a lot of, flexibility to it and a lot of joy to it, actually. So you see a lot of people do that, travel nursing. And you don't have to do anything differently. As long as you're licensed, they take care of everything. They take care of everything for you throughout your duration. And then you can also tell them, this is where you want to go. This is where you're aiming to go. Like they will look out for that place for you. And then they give you as many shifts as you want. And then we also have the camp nurse as well. I don't know if you know about camp nurses. So in summer period, so our summer starts from July to August. It's very, very short. the rest of the year is very cold. So we're approaching summer real quick. So there's a lot of activities in camp places. So you have children going into camp activities, adults and things like that. And they need healthcare providers in that place to be just in case things happen. So it is a way of making that extra dollar, which some friends would call moolah, extra moolah, to make extra money for themselves. So you will be a camp nurse. They provide accommodation, they provide everything as well. And those are even very, like people that are very young, the young nurses or people that are not even married, they don't have commitment. They take opportunity of this traveling nursing and camp nurse because they can go here and there. They don't have to pay for accommodation. Everything is well paid for. And you're saving money. At the same time, making, still providing your care and making more money for yourself. So if you want to really build a mansion, these are the things you can quickly look into and make that money. But what we found out among internationally educated nurses is that they tend to overwork themselves and do not take care of their mental health. So while you're doing that, please do not lose yourself in the process. Yes, the money could be very attractive, especially when you convert it to Naira. It's a whole lot, but please don't convert to Naira. Don't do that, right? So it could mean anything. So basically you have to make sure you're taking care of your mental health while you're doing that. And then the research. I started as a research, so it's not even new, like knowing fully what the nurses doing here, a lot of that. So I started that as in Nigeria as well. So I know a lot of people want to go into frontline, like it's common, people start with frontline, but I just think I was just that weird nurse starting from Nigeria, going into research from day one of my first practice as a nurse in Nigeria. So basically there are nurses going into that and they are very respected in that field, actually, because they are the ones gathering those evidence-based information to inform our frontline practices. We need to be updating how we do things, how we practice here. We do that a lot. It's very key, and I'm going to mention that briefly. So you see nurses in that frontline doing research, and there's a lot of fun for them. So if you're ever interested in doing that, there are opportunities like that. And basically those opportunities, you find them in government institutions. So like in Health Canada. So I have the link also where you can find things like that, or the provincial or federal institution. You find it there, you find the jobs there. So if you're interested in research, you look at it. And then policymakers. I know we don't really have that in Nigeria much. Nurses are kind of put behind. You see, nurses they are breaking grounds here, honestly. As long as you have the education, as long as you are ready to explore, you can go as high as you want here in this country. So they make policies. We see them in the front. And then we have nurses that are responsible for ethics. So those are the ones responsible for law. So if you are the type that you like to look into things critically, how things done this way, why things should not be done this way. Look into health law, and there are programs for that actually, just certification programs. That doesn't take long, some weeks, some few months. So you can look into that and get yourself grounded in that field as well. So it's going beyond, I have to be on the floor touching my patient. It's part of it, but there is more to that. You can actually broaden your horizon on that. And then the education we all know about that. We have facilitators, nurse educators, lab instructors, and school nurse. People also do the school nurse because they kind of also find it a bit flexible as well. So you have to look at where you are, what phase you are, what you need to achieve, and then put yourself which aspect should I take at this point. It doesn't have to be hospital right away, just to let you know. And then the occupational health nurse, I've always known this field of nursing to always make the big money. And it's still the same thing here. So, and there are programs for that as well. Governments are always looking out for them. Occupational health nurses, we have them. And it's very flexible. Most of their job is Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, or even 9 to 4. So I don't want to be biased here, but most of my talk here will be based on young nurses, kind of like, because what we are seeing, the dynamics of nursing right now, or the demography for nursing right now is either we are having nurses who are making babies, meaning the young ones, or people who are breaking the bones, which means the old ones. That's what we're seeing more now these days in nursing. So that's why I'm kind of tailoring it to where you are, what you need to achieve. So if you're a young mom, you need time for your kids, you might be looking out for a 9 to 4 job. You don't want to go to the hospital job, which is where we start by 6:45 and we close at 6:45 a.m. and close by 7 p.m. You're gone for the whole day. How do you take care of your kids, right? So you have to look at what you need to achieve at that moment. Like, what does your family need? Such that when you're making money, at the same time, your family is not suffering. Because it's very easy here. There's a lot of things that goes on here that if you don't take care of your family as well, I just hope you don't use that money to take care of them eventually. Meaning in terms of mental health. So you just like your family are kind of like already foreign to you. You don't even know what they are doing because you don't spend time with them. So you have to be strategic to know if you're a young mom or a young dad or young family, you have to look into that as well to balance the whole thing. And that has made me actually change different jobs. So when Bro Samuel was reading, she did this, Adela did that. There were times where I needed to, after doing the front line, and I have a child I have 2 children, 4 years and 6 years old. And I realized that at this point, I cannot continue to become a frontline nurse where I work in internal medicine. I was actually working in medicine and it's 12-hour shift, but technically I'm gone for 14 hours, right? I couldn't continue that way. Yeah. So I had to look for something that could maybe a 8 to 4 job. So I'm trying to relate it now, not just mentioning what you should be doing, but relate it to your life as well, the job you should be doing and how it matches and balance with your life. So basically, you have to look for that. So I had to look for a job that is 8 to 4 because I know daycare opens at 6 p.m. and closes by 7 p.m. here. So, right. So because I have a job that is 8 to 4, I can easily drop my kids when I'm going to work and pick them when I'm coming back. Right. So we go together and we come back together and we're able to discuss together in the car what happened today. So I'm still building the connection while I'm still making the money. So you have to look at where you are. And then the nursing informatics, it is well sourced for here. People are really looking into that here, especially with the pandemic that we have now. So basically, you cannot afford to say, oh, the computer bites me. I don't know how to use the technology. You have to embrace it at this period if you really want to survive. Honestly, computer is just well needed here now. We're going past taking biro and pencil. We need to save our trees. We need to stop producing papers. We are going electronics now these days. So basically, yes, that's the way we document here, more of electronics. That's what we do here because we realize that there's a lot of errors, while maybe when doctors are prescribing or transcribing things, there's a lot of error where you need to write 0.5, some see it as 0.5, it has caused some medication error. So we're going electronics. So basically, if you are the type who doesn't like that, please start preparing yourself now. Register, get yourself grounded before you come in here. And then this aspect of nursing is very interesting as well. The reason is because, yes, you are not directly relating to patient, but they call you in. So you're on the phone, they call you in, I'm having chest pain. You tell them how you kind of do your assessment on the phone with them. And then from there, you'll be able to tell them, oh, you call an ambulance, or okay, do you have your medication that you can take? So depending on, so you're still using your clinical judgment, actually. So there are nurses that are doing that from the phone. So we call them the telehealth nurses. And then as well, there is the opportunity whereby care sometimes patients cannot really get into where the services are. So we have the telehealth approach whereby the patients can be in their house, just like we're doing right now. We can be Zooming at the same time. I can be Zooming my patient. We can be online doing that. And the nurses, the doctors, all the interprofessional based team members will be there at the same time. So basically, you need that knowledge of technology to be able to do that, and then when it comes to that as well, it is expected of you to be able to type. They expect you, one of the job requirements is for that aspect is to be able to type, I think 130 words per minute. You should be able to type fast. I know when I came into this country, I usually want one hand to, I'm still like, where is A? Where is B? Things like that. You can't do that actually. So you have to be able to type fast when you are looking into that aspect. And that aspect, you don't have to be a master's. You don't have to have masters for that. With your registered nurse at that level of diploma level, you can actually go into that as well. So you don't have to have masters to do into that. So now the administration, which are managers, they are the managers, right? They are the ones that kind of like use their leadership role to influence practices. They guide the frontline nurses. Now, you will be surprised when I said nurses are actually chief executive officers here, CEOs of hospitals. It's not like in Nigeria that it has to be a doctor. No. In Saskatchewan, for instance, where I live, we used to have 12 major hospitals, like 12 regional hospitals. We call them regional hospitals before we became one. So they merged everything to become Saskatchewan Health Authority in 2017. It used to be 12 different. I can categorically tell you that out of those out of the 12 CEOs that we have in Saskatchewan, 9 of them were nurses. Yes, 9 of them were nurses. So just to let you know, you can go as high as you want if you can stretch beyond your comfort zone here. And we have them as directors, and they are actually well respected. Their opinion is valid. And there's what we call the patient coordinators. So those ones, basically, their role is to make sure they're kind of like advocate for the patient on the floor, and also like case managers as well. So it goes beyond, I am going to the hospital. You can still do all this. You can still use your clinical judgment in different aspects. So in terms of the administration, what I have found out actually is that a lot of immigrants or internationally educated nurses don't want to take up those roles. They are kind of like, step back. Please, you need to, especially like it doesn't bite. And that's how we can influence, and that's how we can represent ourselves in a country like this. So please challenge yourself to go into that. I know, like when I step in as a director, I'm young, I'm an African. There are so many things contending against me, right? Being a young person, African, and a woman. And when we go for directors meeting provincially, a lot of people we find there are Caucasians. I will be the only Black person there. I'll be the only African there. I'll be the youngest, most of them in their 50s. So some people have the ideology that I have to be old, like you have to be in your 40s, that kind of mentality that, it's when you attain certain age before you can take certain role. No, please jump into those roles as long as you get yourself prepared. So fine, it might look a bit absurd, but that's the truth. I feel the pride in me to be able to walk into a whole meeting where we have a lot of directors, a lot of executive directors, and being the only African leader there. It's a lot. It speaks volume. So, but that's what I found, that a lot of immigrants don't want to do that. So they just decide to stay in the bedside, where, that's the usual thing, that comfort zone. You need to stretch out actually. And then I'm not sure if anybody have heard about quality improvement nurse. Do we have that in Nigeria? I don't want to assume it's not, but I just want to know where we are right now in Nigeria. So, but Samuel, I'm trusting in you, like, because I'm looking at your video right now, like just to see people's reaction if they ever know what that is. what are people saying? Do people know what that is? So, okay. So basically, the quality improvement nurses are the ones responsible for making sure that there is patient safety and quality care is being provided to all healthcare consumers. So those ones, they look into risk management. In Canada, we do accreditation every 5 years. What that means is that every 5 years there is a body in Canada, and it's a federal thing, a national rather. We call them Accreditation Canada. So they come to your hospital, they come to the hospitals every 5 years to make sure that you are still following protocol, standard, and evidence-based. Yeah, we do that. We make sure that everything is, because that is how we can provide quality care. So they are nurses responsible for these roles. They are the ones they go into and see how things are being done. They make sure that things are done properly to ensure that quality care is being provided. So they are responsible for instance, there are some organizations, sometimes you see them, there's a lot of medication error. They are nurses, they'll be the one that will actually go in to make sure what is causing the error, why are nurses making error, what can we be doing differently, how can we help them, how can we support them, how can we improve them. But I tell you, if you ever Google this type of nurses or check online, especially in the US, these nurses are making even more than doctors. And here in Canada, they're making a whole lot of huge amount of money. And then when we get to the education section, I'll tell you what you need to do to get into that role, actually, to get into jobs like that. It's always been posted. So when you see things like that, when they say quality improvement, because it doesn't mention nursing, doesn't mean you cannot tap into it. These roles are actually needed in our healthcare facilities. They are the ones that track how people are falling, why people are falling, what year people fall, like what can we do differently, what should we be looking out for, how can we support people from falling, so many things just to improve. Why do we have nurses calling in sick all the time? Why are we having too much sick time? They are the ones looking into that. So those are their role. Actually, they do so many things and they're making a whole lot. And it's very flexible as well. If you like data, if you can use your data to inform practices, if you like to gather information, if you can analyze data, you can go into this actually. I really want to go back to the administration part. Now, when I was saying that nurses, especially international educated nurses, don't like to go into leadership role. While I was applying for this role as a director, I tell you guys, I had doctors who also applied for this role, but I was chosen above them. So what does that tell me? It tells me something that nurses cannot be limited. We're always there. So this is not a function of exaggeration. I know that. And how did I get to find out? Is because when I assumed that role, when I became the director, I could see who applied. Okay, I think Gloria has a question. Oh, it was a legal thing. Was it a mistake? Brasama, you can actually unmute so that I can, yeah.
Ma, we will take the question at the end of the segment, ma.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Okay, so I would continue. So now we've said all that you can do this, you can do that, you can be this as a nurse, you can do so many things, you doesn't have to be the hospital, so many opportunities ready for you. But how do you then become that nurse in Canada? How do you get to those roles? Because you need to be a nurse to be able to get to that role too, right? Then how do you become that? I get a whole tons of call all the time. Oh, Diola, how do I get licensed in Canada? The thing could be the process could be very overwhelming, honestly. So the first step is, even before then, I hope you guys can still see my slide, right? Can you still see my slide?
Yes, we can, ma. We can see your slides.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, so just to let you know, like a lot of nurses are coming into this country a lot. And a lot of people, and I'm really shocked about the number, 36,000. I mean, that's way too low. It tells me that it's either people that don't really know what to do or who to be talking to, because there are a lot of nurses who come in here and eventually they don't even get to become that registered nurse because the information is not there. They don't know what to do. They are being misled, they don't even know how to go about things. And then they get frustrated and then they just give up. And then those are the ones you find doing some menial jobs and things like that, right? So now the first step is for you to go into the National Nursing Assessment Service. Now I have a link on that actually. So on that link, if you can see my slide, on that link, it tells you those documents that you need to submit. If you ever want to come to Canada to practice as a nurse, that is your first bus stop. That is where you should go first. Go in there, look out for what they want in terms of the documents. Why it's an handbook, and it's very recent. I mean, it was just modified last year, 2020. It's very recent. So you'll see it on my slide. So I'm going to be sharing the slide anyway. So just click on that link. You will find that what you need to submit, all the documents you need to submit, your education, everything. So that body is a national body that they screen, they check all your documents to make sure that you are able to practice in Canada. Then they look out for your English test. If you're going to Quebec, so in Canada, we have 13 provinces. 13 provinces. So we go by, you know how we go by states in Nigeria? It's called provinces here. So there are 13 of them. So there are 10 provinces and 3 territories. So those territories are the ones kind of like Nunavut. You find them, they're kind of like the extreme, very cold parts. Like they're more in the northern part of Canada. So the province, so one of them is Saskatchewan, which Brother Samuel calls Saskatchewan. He has called it several names several times here. So that's okay. Everybody knows that. I'm not trying to pick up on you, but it's common here. It's very, very common here. Like people don't call this right. So, I mean, the name could be it could give you fracture of the mandible if you're not careful, so while you're calling it. So basically, there are 10 different provinces and 3 territories. So you have to then look into, so the second link on my slide will lead you to the provinces across Canada. So basically, I can do new share. No, just continue with this one. So I'm just going to see if I can keep verification, new share. Okay, and then share. Okay, can you guys see something differently? Regulatory bodies, right? Can you guys see that? Okay, perfect. So now you see British Columbia is one of the provinces we have, Alberta, Saskatchewan, so Manitoba, Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia. Those are places you can go in Canada. Prince Edward Island, Newfoundland and Labrador, Northwest Territories. So I said there are 3 of them, which Northwest Territory is part of it, Nunavut is part of it, and then Yukon is part of. Those are the last 3 are the territories, and the first 10 are the provinces. So why I'm sharing this is that maybe this will be your very first place you even want to go to start with. Where do I want to go in Canada? Which part of the province do I want to go in Canada? A lot of people know about Toronto. It's all about Toronto. Toronto nurses, I want to go to Toronto. I want to go out to Ottawa. There are other places you can go. You can come here in Canada. And one thing you should know, the highest paid places, as you go across province, the dollar amount differs. We don't pay the same amount. So you have to know where you want to go. So the highest paid is Alberta, the province of Alberta. They pay nurses more, and then followed by Saskatchewan. Okay, I didn't know that. So don't think that because I came to Saskatchewan because of that. I didn't know that until when I came here too. So that was very good when it comes to payment. So they pay more in those provinces. I think Ontario pay less. It's not very, they don't really pay much. So I will show that at the end of, I will show you guys that the salary when we were talking about salary wise. So they pay less, but again, you have to look at, don't always go for the money. The money is good, don't get me wrong. I love money so much. Whoever knows me knows I like money. So, but again, you have to look at where suits you first. Saskatchewan is very, very cold. It's very, very cold. Anything Western Canada and Northern could be very cold. People go to Ontario, Toronto because the weather is not too bad. When we are experiencing we go as low as minus 50 something Celsius, not Fahrenheit, Celsius. It is bad. So people here, they make jest of us a lot. All those of you in Saka, they call us Saka. You know, they want to make jest of us. They don't want to call it Saskatchewan. It's very, very, very cold. So they don't want to come here. And again, there's a lot of Nigerians in Toronto, Ontario. So it depends on what you're looking out for. If you're looking out for more of socials, you can go to those places like that. If you look at more of, yeah, I can still cope with the weather. It's not killing. It's not going to be a killing weather actually, but it's cold. I should prepare your mind. So depending on what you're looking out for, it's and then in terms of immigration wise, Saskatchewan is very, very, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, it's very easy to get into, and Alberta too as well. So basically you have to look at where do you want to go, because when you get into the national assessment portion, where you have to submit all your documents to become a nurse, they ask you, which province do you want to go? So you have to know. So that's why I've shared also this link. So you can just click, okay, for Saskatchewan, for instance. So the people responsible are called the Saskatchewan registered nurses. What do they need? What are those, in terms of English wise, some could need 7.5, another province could need 6.5. So you have to look at where are you, what do you have, what qualification you already have that suits you. So you do that, and then you go into that nurse, okay? So I'm just going to go out of that and go back to my slide, okay? So yeah, I have, sorry, just, okay. So how do we get into that? So I've said, so the going through the National Nursing Assessment. So you go into that website and then it tells you what to do. And then when you become a nurse here in Canada, now how long does that process take? It used to be 3 years or even 4. I've known of some of my colleagues that it took them 6 years. It used to be very, very long process. That's why people are discouraged from coming to Canada. But the good news is that because they introduced the National Nursing Assessment Services now, it's usually between 1 to 2 years, depending. So if you are thinking of coming to Canada, please, you can start doing that now. Get everything ready now. You don't have to be here before you start doing the application. Get that done right now. So I tell people who are coming here even to do their masters, start doing that now, so that by the time you're even done with your masters, you know, it's already close to the time of finishing, and then you can be able to practice as a nurse. So you can start doing that now. And another thing is that anybody will become a nurse, become a member of the Canadian Nurses Association here. So it is just the way it is. And then in Canada, the exam that we write is called the National Council Essential Examination. So when the regulatory bodies tells, after they've done all your assessment, they realize that yes, you're fit to practice there in Canada, there are always kind of like 2 outcomes. They could tell you that yes, your qualification meets, or you still need to do some courses and you still need to do OSCE. All the nurses go through OSCE. You have to go through OSCE, which is the practical aspect. But don't be afraid. They will train you. The government has already made that opportunity. You know, like I think when it comes to the OSCE, you don't have to pay in Saskatchewan. You don't have to pay. So, there is an institution responsible for that. It's actually in the University of Regina, you know, where I live. So, and then you will find nurses. They are even the ones responsible being those trainers. They are the trainers. So mostly internationally educated nurses, because you understand the whole struggle, right? When you have not internationally educated nurses in charge of people helping out nurses coming in, they understand. You understand the language, you understand the culture, you understand the process. So we have a lot of nurses doing that as well. So it's just more than bedside. You can also do that, helping new immigrants, new nurses to be able to get into that licensure process as well. And they make a whole good lot of money because they're kind of considered as a form of lecturer, kind of. So they make more money. Lecturers make a whole lot of money here, you know, for nurses. So then they tell you need to go write the board exam. Everybody has to write the board exam. Even we that school year, we had to write the board exam. So in 2015, we changed from CRNE. We used to write an exam called the CRNE. We changed from CRNE to NCLEX. And the reason we did that is just to make sure that as a nurse in Canada, you can also practice in America. That flexibility. So if I'm really interested to go practice maybe on the weekend, because I live very close to my house, is just like 1 hour 30 minutes from the US. If I want to go there, I can. All I just need to get is an agent, and then I'll present my license and I can do that. So they make that flexibility there. And same for nurses in the US, you can do that. So which is very good at the Canadian Nurses Association did for us in 2015, switching to the NCLEX as well. Now let's go quickly to the next phase, which is my own experience, what I should have known, which I call the GIST zone. So when I was coming to this country, I know that yes, education is going to open opportunities for me. Yes, and I'm a living testimony to that. The more you get more trainings, more education for yourself, you are going to be making more opportunities for yourself. A lot of nurses come in here and they just get stuck as a diploma trainers. When you become licensed here, you don't have a degree. If you don't have a degree here from your country, you're still going around as a diploma trained nurse. And the truth is that most of all the provinces now and the jobs now will say they need people who are degree trained. So kudos for people who are ready, or people who are in the process, or people who are thinking. If you are thinking of having your degree, please do that, because you're going to be doing more opportunities for yourself for doing that, opening more doors for yourself. So I know that from the beginning, and it's still working for me, and I'll keep improving on myself education-wise. It's very key. So don't get stuck with just, oh, now I'm now in that country, I'll just work and work and work. And you forget about improving yourself. It's very important. And then certification. Do not joke with certification here. We do a lot of certification here that makes you, at the end of the day, when you get those certification, you can just take it to the human resources department. They can give you extra dollar for that. Your wages increases for that. And the truth is that when you join some of those organizations, so there's a portion where I said, if I knew earlier, I didn't know this earlier, that I could join some healthcare societies, like the Canadian Nurses Association Society, so many health societies. They provide fund, they provide scholarship, they provide opportunity for you to come for conferences free. You just have to apply for them. So there are those money waiting. Nobody is tapping into those money. Nobody's tapping into those resources. So join those societies so that when those opportunity comes, they're always coming. They're always there all the time. You just have to apply, and then I can travel to Toronto being paid for. They've paid for my flights. They pay for the conferences. All I just need to do is carry my handbag and go and listen to lecture or go and present. So join those things. From now, you can join that from Nigeria now. Be a member of those things. Yes, you can do that. Start joining them so that you can tap into those opportunities. I'm sure people know about Sigma Theta Tau, that honor society of nursing. Join them as well. Lots of our colleagues here that came from Nigeria did that, and then they've given the opportunity to go present in the US. They've given them a lot of scholarship. Yes, and I've also benefited a whole lot from them. And for me as well, while I was going to school here, there's a section called it's the Canadian Nurses Foundation. I got about 3 different scholarships, worth $3,000 each $1,000 each towards my education. Join them. If you don't join them, you don't know. You don't know. And it's available every year. Every year it is there. So join them. And then knowing fully well that those certifications, you have to do it. There's a dignity in this profession here. It's not like in Nigeria. I know in Nigeria, they can say nurse pre. We don't do that here. Nurses are well valued here. Honestly, you'll be amazed that yes, you really embrace the profession a lot. So basically, if I knew earlier, I would embrace technology beyond the basics, because now the language of today is technology, IT. So basically, if you don't like that, please start getting yourself ready. Start enrolling from Nigeria before you get here. And even when you get here, go into that as well. Join societies, go to where the job opportunities are. I want to really say that quickly. The reason is because, like I said earlier, people just go to Toronto, right? That's all they know. That's the only place they know. That's why I'm telling you, I'm sharing with you that there are 10 provinces in Canada and 3 territories you can go. Now, even in Saskatchewan, for example, we have places like the bigger cities. and we have smaller areas like rural areas, remote areas. So when I say rural areas or remote areas, it doesn't mean they don't have hospitals. They have everything there. So if you're thinking, oh, if I go rural, then there's not going to be hospitals, there's going to be school. No, you will find everything. There is light, there is food, there is water, there's everything. It's just that the population is not as much. Maybe you find them as 1,600 in rural area, and then in bigger city, you can find maybe like 5,000. That's kind of the difference. But the trick to that again is that when you go rural, there's more benefit for you, more money, because it is part of their retention and recruitment strategy. They want people to come in there to those rural area and help out. Nurse practitioners go in there and they make a whole lot of money. I know I keep saying money, but it's not about the money, right? But again, the opportunity. So be flexible, be mentally flexible to go to where the job opportunities are. You don't have to stay in the big city. You can go there because even in the smaller city, you can still get that more opportunity and more role for yourself, right? And then resume, which we call CV in Nigeria. I know how our CV looks in Nigeria. Hallelujah, somebody. Our CV in Nigeria tells you there is, you put your name, your date of birth, your state of origin. I like to write my hobby. I like to eat rice and dodo. Everything is right in your CV there, right? Everything. I'm short, 3.5, you put everything there. I'm like, you don't need all that here, please. When you come in here, you need to fine tune your resume. Your resume speaks for you. Those are the things that, when you send it out, that is what is speaking out for you. So when you get here, there is an organization here, and it's also free. You just have to go to the immigration center for new immigrants. They call them Welcome Society. Welcome Society, yeah. Depending on which province you are. You go there, you take your resume there, they will help you fine tune it to the Canadian standard. And then when you have done that, then you can start applying for a job. Please do not use your Nigerian. I don't want to know what it looks like, but I still implore you to make sure you do your resume that is up to the Canadian standard. Otherwise, your resume will keep going into the garbage. You will just realize that you're not getting calls back. And it starts from there. So you have to do it to the Canadian standard. And if you don't want to use those free, there are also people that paid organizations that will make sure that your resume is up to the standard. So that's very key. So the next thing is the tips that I just want to share. You have to be open-minded. I've said you have to think outside the box. You have to match your knowledge and your skills and abilities with your goal. It's very important. So maybe when you start, maybe you are the shy type. You are not too confident yet when you get into the country. You might want to start maybe in the nursing home. Some people start because it's a bit less, it's not very fast paced, but there's a lot of job opportunity, lot of roles that you need to do. It's kind of demand a lot of leadership role actually in nursing home. Or you want to go to home care that I said, going into the homes of. So some people are not too confident yet going to the hospitals, right? Going to the acute care. So you have to understand yourself, understand your personality. If you think you are not ready to work in the hospital, please do not go there, because a lot of people have lost their license because they went to work where it doesn't match their knowledge and skill sets. It's very hard, very difficult to get those licenses, and you just don't want to lose it. It's not like in other countries where you are being watched. And your patient can actually go online and report you directly to the regulatory body that they do not like your service. And then the next minute you are going to get a call from the Saskatchewan Registered Nurses Association that you have a query. It's an open system. So make sure you go to where you are comfortable with. And then as you gain more education, as you understand the system, then you can start taking more roles. Okay? And then nursing is more than bedside, like I said. And you don't even need agents to complete all this Canada processing. Honestly, with all the links that I've shared there, just go there. It's very straightforward. Just do it, because agents will not influence anything. They do not have a say. They are only just going to arrange your document for you. Okay, page 1, page 2, page 3, which anybody can do. Or they want to make sure that everything is, all the documents are complete. And that's why I'm sharing that link. You should know what you should be submitting. Once you know what you're supposed to submit, you're good to go. Then you save that money. I know sometimes they charge as much as 350,000 naira or something, or even more, or even 1 million. Yeah, that's the truth. A lot of people are falling victim of that. And eventually, they still do not get those visas. Eventually, they still do not get the license. So go online. You have the internet. Get that done by yourself. And then you should, if you don't understand anything, you can always ask questions than to go spend that huge amount of money for things like that. And then, yeah, I said you don't need that. And then I think my last slide is going to plan and act, get the needed information to be able to act is very, very important. More education, you need your license. And then basically you can come into Canada through the federal skilled or the provincial nominee skilled. So the provincial one, that means, like you remember I said, we have 10 different provinces and 3 different territories. So you can go individual, and then the federal is just at the national one. So the provincial is very fast. So basically, if you have family members here, they can actually file for you and things like that. It's very, very fast, very, very fast, actually. So you can come in through that means. Again, all those things, you don't need agent for that. They don't influence anything. They would only tell you, I'm sure when you go to their offices, you see them taking pictures with the whites, everything looks so fancy, and it's all just the business strategy or marketing skills. They do not influence anything, honestly. So it's only the immigration people that just do their thing if you have all the necessary documents. So I think basically I said a useful link. So now I'm just going to show you guys something. So this useful link, what you can find on those links, you can find where you can find jobs across Canada, jobs opportunities, regulatory bodies. So the very first one, let me kind of like open that, and then we can go into question actually after that. New share. Okay, and share. Can you guys see the new slide? Can you guys see the page?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so it's called the Registered Nurses in Canada. So basically, and I've shared the slide too. So if you come to salary-wise, wages, under wages that I click, so I'm just going to go down. It tells me all the provinces in Canada and the fee, the amount. So you can start your research there. Where do I want to go? Where pays more? In terms of weather-wise, I've told you that where I am is quite cold, but it's doable. I'm still living. I've been over 10 years here. It's okay. You can get yourself ready. It's okay. And then British Columbia, let me quickly mention about British Columbia. British Columbia has a very good weather, actually. They don't really have snow, but they have icy rain. So it's all about rain, 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 rain here. And it's one of the most beautiful places in the world. So people go there. But what you should realize is that we have a name for British Columbia. We call it Bring Your Cash. It's called BC, like British Columbia, Bring Your Cash. What that means is that it's expensive to live in British Columbia. So you want to weigh your option, beauty or money to save, kind of like, what do you want? The place is beautiful, lot of things to do, like so lovely. We go for vacation there, no snow, but very expensive to live. So a lot of people don't even live in the town. They live outside, outskirts, and then they drive. So you have to look at, because it's very difficult. Like the place is expensive. So bring your mullah. They need your mullah there. Things are really expensive. The reason is because we have a lot of Chinese people there. And the Chinese, when they come to this country, they bring you a whole lot of money and then influence the economy of that place and make things expensive. So the place it's very beautiful. They pay well, but if you can see in terms of, now, if you look at one here that I'm sharing, which is the Northwest Territory. So that's the cold place. Look at the money there. Like they go as high as $72 an hour, per hour, because we do per hour here, right? So but the trick to that place is that it's very, very cold, like even colder than, it's like North Pole, as if you're going to Alaska. So again, the money or the weather, depending. Where do you want to go? It all depends. So you have your opportunities. I mean, this is Saskatchewan here, and then we go as high as 40. I think it has now increased actually now, because we have a union and we have a very strong union here that they increase salary for us. All we need to do is to say we want more, and then they go fight for us. The reason is because we pay a whole lot for union. So we need to be seeing their impact too as well. Yeah, they take that from our paycheck all the time. So when we need more money, we fight for it, and they go fight for us with the government, and they win most times. So it's good. So yeah, I think that is about that I need to share in terms of on my slide. But The moderator, please, you can share this slide with all the participants if they want it. I mean, like the links that they can use to get the things. And I think that's all.
Okay, ma. Thank you so much. Okay, ma. Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation. Sincerely speaking, I don't know how I'm feeling right now. I don't know how I'm feeling because you just loaded up with a lot of stuff, and I want to appreciate you for that. The simplicity, and everything, the information was so impactful. And sincerely speaking, we are so blessed to have you here around us. We're blessed to have people around like you to come and impact us. And I'm sure my listeners too are really, really happy wherever they are, because this section is so wonderful. It has been mind-blowing. Sincerely speaking, our expectations are met. Sincerely speaking, I'm happy about that. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. You can see, you can even go through the chat section. Everybody just saying it's fantastic. Thank you so much, ma. Can we get your social media handle? A lot of stuff's coming up here. We are so blessed to have you around, and we are so grateful. We are so grateful. We are so grateful. Words are not enough to even to express how I'm feeling right now, personally, sincerely speaking. This is so impactful, and I'm happy to be part of this program. Sincerely, thank you so much, Mark. We really appreciate it. Now, to my dear listeners, we would not be able to take all the questions, but I'm very sure at the beginning of the summit, there has been information that has been going around that ebook is going to be made available, in which every of our questions and everything will be detailed into it. I mean, I can see some people telling us about sharing the link, getting us information about joining those groups and all those things she has mentioned. Everything will be incorporated into that ebook. So trust me sincerely, the ebook is going to be loaded with a lot of source from all our facilitators. And it will be good every one of us book for the ebook, because this is going to be a life-changing opportunity for each and every one of us. Sincerely speaking, this section has been wonderful. This section is so fantastic, and I'm so blessed to moderate this segment. Sincerely speaking, thank you so much, ma. Really appreciate it. Before you go, ma, I would like to take just a single question from the questions that have been posted here. Well, my dear listeners, you can keep your questions coming. Don't worry, keep it coming. All questions will be attended to, but then it will be a part of the ebook. We are not going to answer it live here because of the time factor. We still have another program after this, so we have to just manage our time so well. So every of the questions, keep it coming. Keep it coming. We are taking note of it, and every of it will be answered. But before you go, I want you to answer this question raised by Afolabi Olabisi. She's asking, is there any age limit placed on the prospective North immigrant to Canada? Like there is any age discrepancy migrating to Canada? Can you just expatiate on that, man?
Fortunately, there is nothing like that. I mean, that alone is called ageism, and is a form of racism on its own, which Canada does not embrace. So you can, in fact, recently they even increased the retirement age to 74. It used to be around 60 something. They increased it to 74. And I won't be surprised if they take it to 80 and things goes on. So you can go as many years as you want to. So there is no age limit. But when it comes to the, for the education itself, going to nursing school or going to the university, I think there could be some age limit to that. Not in terms of, the entry, like, I think you have to be 16 or 17. But it doesn't really work that way, as long as you have the capacity. But in terms of if I'm 50s, I'm 60, no, you can go as long as you think you can still practice. There is no age limit.
Okay, Afolabi Olabisi, as long as you are fit to practice, there is no age limit. Thank you so much, Ma, once again. We are so happy to have you around.
I think, if you don't mind, I think I know his familiar face here, like the name Suliyat Obile. I hope that's not my senior there.
I'm not so sure, but possible.
Yeah, possible.
At large, undergraduates, graduates, staff nurse, everybody.
Yeah. So she asked a good question here, that if you have a license in Manitoba, and that's a very fantastic question, can you use that license to practice in Saskatchewan or in other provinces? Yes, you can, but what you just have to do is that you can't use that. If a Manitoba licensed nurse, you can't use the Manitoba license in Saskatchewan. But what you can do, if you know you are moving to a different province, you just have to inform that regulatory body. So say you're moving from Manitoba to Saskatchewan, you have to call the Saskatchewan Registered Nurses Association. Let them know that you are moving, that you got a job in Saskatchewan. Then they will be able to transfer your license. We call it transfer license. And it's usually within 6 weeks, actually. So you don't have to write the exams, you don't have to write anything. You don't have to, you just have to let them know and they will transfer the license over. And if you want to move to another province of Saskatchewan like that, you just have to let them know, and then it takes 6 weeks.
Okay, ma'am. So, Ma, we are still going to post some of those questions after the program. So we plan to just put everything together in a book. You know, it will be good for her to have it handy. You know, all this information is not just something we just hear on here and just put in a little sheet of paper and just get the paper thrown up somewhere. You know, this is too much to be discarded. This is too much to let it just go just like that. So we are planning on making the book it will compile every of those things. So don't worry, we are still going to throw all those questions to you just behind the scenes so that you give us detailed answer to it, which will be part of the book. You understand now?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you so much for the section, ma'am. You are well appreciated, ma'am. You are well appreciated.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And then I just want to thank all the listeners as well. There won't be this there won't be me doing this without giving me the opportunity. So I really appreciate everyone for that moment. Like I said, it's a way for me to connect with my own mother country after a very long time. So I really appreciate that. And I look forward to doing more of this. I'm volunteering myself actually to do more of this actually. So thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And we are so glad to hear that coming from you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am. All right, ma'am. So now, my dear listeners, I hope we've learned a lot from what you have said. And I've mentioned earlier, book is under process, and every of our questions will be answered in the book. So it will be nice for us all to have a copy of that book. You know, every of this information is more than what we can discard. Every of this information is more than what we can just write on a piece of paper and think, oh, we'll get back to later. No, we are trying to make sure that we have the information handy and prepare it in form of an ebook, which will be sold at a very reasonable price. Trust me, it will not be too much on us. So it's something that will be affordable. So let's just plan ahead. And I'm sure the organizing committee are working so well to gather all the information and capture all the questions that is being raised. And trust me sincerely, they are doing a lot of work behind the scenes to make the book so impactful. And don't worry, every of our questions will be answered by the facilitators in detail. You understand now? So just prepare your mind to get a copy of the ebook after the whole career summit, because it's going to comprise all the segments from the day one to the last day, which is today, and the other section which will be coming up after this section. So it's going to be something you and I must have. It's going to be like a guidance for us. You know, there are a lot of information out there, about all these things we've been talking about. And it's not about just getting information, it's about getting the right information. And that's why I'm repeating this. We all need to make plans to get the ebook. So don't worry, as per the time frame, I will get back to us on that. Don't worry. It will not take so much time. It is not going to take a longer time to get processed. The work is on ground presently. The work is ongoing. It's just because the career summit is still on its WAF. We've not finalized on the whole process, but then the work has begun, and it's definitely going to be released for sales in no time. Okay, I think right now we need to go to the next segment of the program, which is right now we're going to the next segment. I don't know if Mr. Folabi Oladayo is online right now. Mr. Afolabi Oladayo, are you online now? Mr. Afolabi Oladayo, are you online now? Okay, pending his arrival.
I am here.
Oh, you're here. Thank you. So now we're going to panel discussion, scholarship opportunities in nursing, which will be moderated by Mr. Folabi Oladayo, who is based in the UK. So, Mr. Afolabi Oladayo, can we have you up here, sir?
Hello. It's a pleasure to be here, and I want to thank the organizers, Professor Ajibade and the INR for an incredible opportunity to be able to do this, and for really bringing this together to support the future of nursing in Nigeria as much as possible. And I'm Oladayo Afolabi. I finished my BSc in nursing in Lautech in 2008 now. Yeah, so since then I've done a lot of stuff here and there, and I'm here right now. I'm currently studying for my PhD. I'm in my third year at King's College London. And I will just be quickly talking about scholarship opportunities in nursing. Over the course of my career, I've been able to win a few scholarships, about 13 now, if I'm counting right. So I think I have a little bit of knowledge to be able to share about how to apply for scholarships and how to ensure your application is a winning one. So greetings from King's College, London. And here we go. So there are a lot of myths around scholarships in nursing. I remembered when I just finished my first degree then, and I used to tell people I'm going to go out of the country to go and do my master's, and it's going to be on scholarship. I kept searching and searching and searching, and some people used to laugh at me then, like, come on, just take the form for UI or take the form for IFE and go and do your scholar and go and do your master's there. Time is going and everything. I didn't get my scholarship until 2012 then, but so it took me 4 years of applying and trying. I can tell you I made over 30 applications before I got my finally got my scholarship to go for my master's in the UK. So while scholarships for nursing can be a little bit hard to find compared to other sciences. In fact, if you are looking for scholarship in physics or maths or chemistry, it's so easy to find. The basic sciences, there's a lot of advancement, there's a lot of pumping money into that. But when you want a scholarship in nursing specifically, especially scholarships that help you to go into a school to study master's, PhD, they're a little bit hard to find, but then it's not impossible to find. So the first myth that I want to bust is the fact that scholarships are only for those with the best grades. I don't agree with that. Different scholarships have different framework by which they assess people. So it's not just about grades alone. In addition, but grades are definitely important. I don't necessarily have the best grades in my class as well, although I graduated as one of the top students, but it's not always about the grades. That's just what I want to establish. So scholarships are by luck. That is another myth that I want to bust, because scholarships take a lot of hard work and preparation and strategy. I can't emphasize strategy enough because it's not just about having the best grades, doing this, doing that. You need to strategically apply to scholarships to be able to win them. And scholarships are not lottery, so it's not about luck at all. It has to be in a nominal nursing degree. And this is another myth that I think needs to be busted, because what is preventing most people from getting scholarships is because they're always looking for scholarships in nursing, masters in nursing or PhD in nursing. In Nigeria, this may be doing your master's specifically in nursing or specifically in an area of nursing is maybe something that is so emphasized within the Nigerian health sector. But when you go outside Nigeria, so it depends on where you want to practice, where you want to be, where do you see yourself. If you're going outside Nigeria, you don't necessarily have to have your master's in nursing. You can have your master's in mental health. There are a lot of areas. Nursing is a very versatile profession because it gives you, I'm sure you've heard about that, a lot of opportunities and a lot of dimensions that you can go into because of nursing. So it doesn't have to be in a nominal nursing degree, especially if you're not planning on staying in Nigeria anyway. Then scholarships are not about you and your career progress. This is one thing I've helped people to look at their scholarship applications many times. And the first mistake that I see people making is when trying to convince the scholarship board to give them scholarships, they talk about themselves and the fact that they want to progress their career and what they want to do and all that. No, scholarship is more than that. Scholarship is about a community, how your influence, how do you influence your field? What is your field of influence? How have you influenced your area? How have you influenced your community with your skills and knowledge? And how will you continue to do that? That's what scholarship is about. So it's not about the fact that I want to go for my master's in this, and it will help me to do this. So it's about your field of influence. What have you been able to do before now? And what do you see yourself doing? And when I think about field of influence and all that, it's always very important to think about strategic goals, whether international strategic goals. For example, you talk about the sustainable development goals. How does the things you are doing now and the things you want to do, how does it align to that? Because that is where the whole world has agreed that we want to go. These are the goals that the whole world has set. And most of the scholarships that you see, most of the fundings that come out, they are attached to those kind of strategic goals And you must know those goals, those purposes before you craft a winning application. So what are the types of scholarships? I have like two classifications. One is by funder. That is the person funding, or the organization or the group funding the scholarship. So we have government-sponsored scholarships. We have scholarships that are sponsored by the schools themselves. We have scholarships that are sponsored by charities and other international organizations. We have scholarships that are sponsored by for-profit organizations. So I've put examples of those kind of scholarships there. Like government-sponsored scholarship, you have Commonwealth Scholarship, Chevening Scholarship, which is sponsored by the UK AID, the United Kingdom AIDS program, Foreign AIDS program. And we have scholarships like the DAAD, which is sponsored by Germany. China sponsors scholarship as well. Singapore, Japan, Finland. US has the Fulbright, and Australia has some very good scholarships as well. So there are a lot of countries that sponsor different scholarships. And then we have some project-focused scholarships as well that are government-sponsored, especially the European Union Erasmus Mundus scholarship. There is a very good one there. They've always had this scholarship for critical care nursing, which is a very, very good one. I remember applying to that in 2010. Yeah. So there's also the school-sponsored scholarships, and school-sponsored scholarships might be project-focused. That means they have a project. One of the professors has won a grant to develop an intervention, or develop or study a particular area, and then in order to do that research, they need to create a PhD program or a master's in health research program to support the project, so that whatever you are doing on that project is focused on, whatever you are doing on your study is focused towards the goals of the project. So, or there are also university-specific endowments. You will find this in many of the big universities like Cambridge, Oxford. Cambridge has the Gates Cambridge Scholarship, which is endowed by Bill Gates, and Oxford has a number of scholarships like that as well. King's have some very good scholarships for Africa, which are endowed by King's itself. So there are university-specific endowments that you can find. I know of universities in Hong Kong, in Australia, in New Zealand, in US that have university-specific endowments. So they are always in all the universities. So that depends on what your search strategy is like. Do you have a specific university you are aiming for, or do you have a specific country you are aiming for to choose? And then we have charity and international organization sponsored. The former speaker has talked about Sigma Nursing Societies, the Canadian Nursing Federation. We have the Baudet Nursing Society in the UK here. We have the Royal College of Nursing in the UK as well. So there are a lot of all those societies that sponsor scholarships. And we have the WHO, also UNESCO, they have certain scholarships that they sponsor as well. So it's knowing where to look for them and knowing where to find them. So we have for-profit organizations that sponsor scholarships. You would have heard about the Coca-Cola scholarship, MasterCard, Johnson & Johnson. We have the Shell scholarship in Nigeria. So there's a lot of those scholarships that are there for people. So there's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of options. It's knowing where to apply to and applying there. And I think one of the things I've enjoyed applying for scholarships as a nurse is many of the funders will tell me they've not had nurses apply for some of those scholarships before. And so they are always very excited to see a nurse apply and to see the potential you offer and that you bring to the table. And they just, it's just a no-brainer that they want to give it to you because maybe it's a scholarship that has usually been applied for by medical doctors and other people in the basic sciences. And yeah, currently with my PhD, I got a scholarship for my accommodation separate from my PhD scholarship from another organization which provides accommodation for students in the UK. And they were like, they've never seen a nurse, they've never had a nurse in the facility before. So they were so excited to see my application and to see what I have to offer. So all those opportunities are always there. Then the purpose of the scholarship also, you can divide different types of scholarship based on that. There are specific project focused scholarships, which are usually for research focused degrees, like masters in nursing research or health research programs, which we call the MPhil in Nigeria, and PhD programs as well are usually specific projects. There are specific aim scholarships like travel grants, conference grants, research grants are also there. There are needs-based scholarships. These needs-based scholarships sometimes are for maybe for indigent students, from students from a particular country, for students from sub-Saharan Africa and things like that. So there are all those kind of scholarships as well. And there is the development-oriented scholarship. Most government-sponsored scholarships are development-oriented scholarship. For example, the Commonwealth Scholarship, the Chevening Scholarship, the DAAD Scholarship, the IDRC, which is International Development Research Council of Canada scholarship. And then we have scholarships that are basically meant for academic excellence. So you can see there are a lot of scholarships, there are a lot of things and ways by which you can approach them. So how do you position yourself for scholarship applications now? Maybe you are not yet applying, maybe you are still even in your second year in nursing, whatever you are. You need to start preparing yourself. You need to start positioning yourself. And like I said, it's not just about good grades. So good grades are not everything, but they matter and they are important. So you should try as much as possible to work hard to get the best that you can get. I usually advise people to at least aim for a 2-1, and at least you have a basis on which you can start applying for scholarships. And then volunteer, serve, and do something outside of your academics. This is very important. I can't stress that enough. You need to be able to think outside of your academics. When I was studying in Lautech, I was the president of the NONSA, and I remember I was doing a lot of things, trying to create different programs and all that. And I took that initiative with me when I went for my NYSC. So during my NYSC, with the medical aid community development project, I worked with the CDS, and we developed a lot of programs for the community, for banks of employees and things like that in Gombe. And I add all those volunteer service and impact and influence around me that I can take to a scholarship board and craft together to prepare strong scholarship applications. So that is very, very important to volunteer and serve and do something outside of your academics, because it is not just always about good grades. They don't just want eccentric individuals who have got all the grades but have no way to connect to people or to influence the people around them. That is why when you see, for example, the Chevening's application, they will ask you about your networking skills, what you've done before now, how you've tackled the challenge, and things like that. So those kind of things, it's important, because when you serve and volunteer in those kind of organizations, you are able to use your skills, problem solving, creative thinking, critical thinking, to address things. And then one thing I can't stress enough is to invest in your writing skills. Is so important. Scholarships, first and foremost, the assessor will encounter you first and foremost in your writing. If your writing doesn't impress them, if your writing is shabby, you won't have a chance, you won't stand a chance. So it's important to invest in your writing skills. I remember when I was in Lautech, I used to write, I just write different things. I'll take it to Professor Salawi now, and he will look at them for me and give comments and all that. I used to help Professor Ajibade with searching online for information and doing things. Professor Tijani search online for information to put things together. At that time, I was very good with using computer to search for things. So I think it's very, very important that you develop your writing skills. So from that stage, I've been trying to develop my writing skills. And while I was in school, I did a lot of writing as well as speaking, so which has helped. So that is very, very important. I can't stress that enough, because that is the first impression that you make. And they say the first impression, you know what they say about that. So it's important to make that strong first impression when applying for scholarships. I'm not sure whether I should be looking at the chat. Okay, let me continue. So first things first, what is the purpose of the scholarship? This is very important. When you want to apply for a scholarship, you must go to that scholarship, the web page, or whatever information you have, or if you see it inside a newspaper. Like my MSc scholarship in London, the first MSc scholarship I won, it was even a friend that saw it in the newspaper and sent it to me, because he knew that I was looking to apply to different scholarships. And he saw it in Punch then, and he sent it to me, and I applied. It was at London Metropolitan University. They award one scholarship every year for a candidate from Nigeria, and that was how I applied for that. So what is the purpose of the scholarship? When I was applying for that scholarship, it was in child and adolescent mental health. The organization that was partnering with London Metropolitan University was Muritala Mohammed Foundation. And what they do majorly is focused around children and out of school children and all that. So I went and did my research. This organization, what do they do? This school, what is the purpose of this scholarship? What do they want to achieve? And I now used that I retrofitted that into what I have done. What have I done in my career that fits this purpose? I know I've worked with some of my colleagues on Almajiri children in the north, in Gombe, Maiduguri, while I was there. And so I was able to use all those experiences. During my CDS with NYSC, we organized a program, community medical outreach, where we gave medications and gave mental health support to Almajiri kids in Gombe then. So all those things I was able to use to fit into the purpose of the organization, because it must fit. And that is why I'm saying you must first and foremost understand what is the purpose of this scholarship, what is the purpose of the organization that is sponsoring it, and what have I done that fits this purpose. It's important to understand those things. And that is how you begin to blend yourself into that purpose and make them see that you have been doing this and you can continue to do this after this, after getting the scholarship. So that is important. And then what are the criteria of the scholarship? That is also important, because honestly, scholarships are so competitive. There are a lot of people applying that if you don't meet the criteria, they just push you aside. I believe in miracles, I believe in faith, and but then it's important to meet criteria when it comes to scholarships. I can't stress that enough. For example, my PhD scholarships, I used to tell people I applied for it. The year I won it wasn't even the year I applied for it. I applied for it a year earlier, but I met all the criteria, I met everything, but I wasn't given the first the first year that I applied. The second year I didn't apply, but my application was still in the system because I deferred my admission, and they considered it again, and I won. So it's important to meet those criteria and things like that, and to be able to explain how you meet those criteria. I think that is important as well. So this is the view from Guy's and St. Thomas Hospital, which is part of King's College London, just there. So writing outstanding applications, like I said, it's important to improve your writing skills, and these are the ways you do it. Read and reread the essay questions. What are these questions saying? What do they want you to focus on? What do they want you to address? This is very important. You need to ensure that you understand the questions you're answering. And then you need to strategically choose the story to tell in your writing. This, I can't stress this enough, because we just write things. But I think if there is one thing I've learned from studying in the UK and being in the UK is the importance of a story. People will ask you, what is your story? You must strategically choose the story to tell. When I was applying for my master's scholarship, it was the story of the boy from the South who went to the North, saw all those children, and it clicked in his heart, clicked with his passion, and tried to influence the people around him, the organizations he belonged to influence that. So that was a story. It was also the story of a boy from the southwest of Nigeria who had a passion for academics and stayed back in the north during the beginning of Boko Haram, when everybody was running back to the south, in order to develop the next generation of nurses, and how that boy got an employment as an assistant lecturer at the University of Maiduguri. So that is another story of how I'm trying to impact the next generation of nurses, especially within the academia, within a university that is the only university within the Northeast that was providing degree education in nursing at that time. So that is a story. So you must strategically choose the story you want to tell in your writing. So there are different layers of different stories that we have in our lives. I remember when I applied for the Nursing Excellence Awards, organized by the Nursing and Midwifery Council, then in 2011 or 2010, I think. And so that was the story of how I influenced change at my place of primary assignment, working with community health extension workers and influencing the people in the administration of the local governments who were using our, the WHO donated ambulances that we were supposed to be using for patients. They were using it as their official car. And then when we have pregnant women bleeding who need to get attention at the referral hospital that is 30 kilometers away, they have to travel on Okada to go to those hospitals. And I had to go and meet the local government, the head of administration in the local government, and report everything and present my case, and for them to now release the vehicle to the health center for us to be using for patients. So far, the patients can fuel it. So that was a story that I told, and won me one award. So you must strategically tell your story. It's important, and that story must fit the organizational goal and the scholarship purpose that you're applying to. So anchor answers to a strategic goal. This is also important. You know, I told you scholarships are about your sphere of influence. What is your sphere of influence? My PhD scholarship, when I applied for it, I know palliative care is a very green area in Nigeria. It's only majorly provided in a select few teaching hospitals. And the aim, the WHO strategic goal, the APCA strategic goal the World Health Assembly strategic goal is for palliative care to be integrated as part of universal health coverage. And that has also been incorporated into the Sustainable Development Goals. So that is a strategic goal. And that is what I was aiming for when I was applying for my PhD. Okay, this is how my PhD, the research I want to do, the outcomes of this research, this is how it will fit with this strategic goal that the WHO, the World Health Assembly, the African Palliative Care Association has. And I was able to communicate that. So I was able to anchor everything I want to do and all the answers I'm giving to that goal. And that is very, very important. That is one thing you must do when you're applying for scholarships. You must be able to anchor to a strategic goal. What the organization is trying to do, they are trying to fund something for development. And if they are funding something for development, there is a goal that they are trying to fill, which is a strategic goal, which is an overarching goal. You may not see that plainly in all the things they put online, but you need to do certain research for you to identify those things and be able to anchor to that. I was looking at somebody's application for Chevenix, was it Chevenix or Commonwealth Shared Scholarship just 2 weeks, not 2 weeks ago. It's up to a month now. And there was a goal that was set by the UN, yes, by the UN since 1992, and they've not met it up till today, and which is about the importance of biotechnology, and the person is a pharmacist who wants to do a master's in biotechnology. So I helped him to weave his application into that goal, that goal is still not achieved up till today. And how can we develop researchers in Africa to be able to gain those skills to use biotechnology in fighting communicable diseases that are still prevalent in our societies. So that is just an example of how to do that. And another thing that I think I need to stress is the STAR technique. This is very, very important. Whatever essay you're given, always think about the situation. What was the situation? What tasks did you need to do? What actions did you take? And what were the results? What were the outcomes that you had? This is very, very important when you are answering any question. Maybe you are answering about networking skills. You should be able to give an example of a situation where you used your networking skills. What actions did you take? What results did you achieve? That is always very important. People who are funding scholarships, they are results oriented, they are outcomes oriented, and they are outputs oriented. So you must be able to show a clear linkage from your situation, tasks, and actions to the results that you achieve doing the things you're doing. And also, it's important to be simple, specific, and clear. Scholarship applications are not the place where you try to show your English language skills. You can do that on your IELTS. Use the big grammar you want to use on your IELTS. But when you are writing a scholarship application, you need to be simple, straightforward, specific, and clear. When you start using big English, people think there is a saying that we use in academics that when you see someone using convoluted sentences and big English and big vocabulary, it's to hide the fact that they don't understand what they are trying to say. If you understand what you're trying to say, you will be able to say it in a very simple, specific, and clear way. There is something I learned in Lautech in my 100 level, and I've kept that with me. And I think is one of the things that has always helped me there's this professor, I think it's Professor Duala or something, that taught us chemistry then. I can't remember his name now. And he said something in class one day. He said, you have not learned something until you are able to explain it to your grandmother who doesn't understand English and she can understand it. That is when you have learned that thing. So I always try to read and reread and try to understand something and be able to explain it in a very simple, specific, and clear way to people. And I think that is very, very important when you are applying for scholarship. And it's important to use examples as well. And when you are using examples, use the STAR technique to drive your examples home. And this also is very important. Get a previous scholarship winner to edit and review your application. Don't just apply blindly. There is no, even me, when I want to apply for scholarships or grants or funding now, I still get people to look at it. So it's not a one-man, most times academics is not a one-man adventure. So it's important to they have the experience, they've done this before. Some of them have even helped other organizations to look at applications before. So they know what to look out for. So it's always important to get a previous scholarship winner to edit and review your application. In 2014, we started the Scholar Build Mentorship program, which was meant to support students to be able to apply for scholarships to improve their career. It didn't take off as I would have wanted it to, and I didn't have time for it at some point, so it went down. But a colleague of mine who we got scholarship together at the same time in 2012, is currently an academic at FUTA. He's into environmental biology and biotechnology. And I think he runs a lot of conferences and talks and speakings on getting scholarships now, Babajide Macaulay. And he also still helps people to look at their scholarships. I've gotten him to look at some of my applications before. So you always need to do those things, network to those kind of people and get them. He's a very good person to follow on Facebook or follow on LinkedIn or wherever you follow people. He gives a lot of information about applying for scholarships and all that. Yes, so that is very important. So other things you need to know note when you're applying for scholarships, your CV must align with your writing. You can't put something in your writing. When I'm saying tell your story, you can't put a story in your writing that is not, you don't have any evidence for it in your CV. You don't lie. You need to tell your story, but you don't need to lie in your applications. That is very, very important. You may spin some things, you may put a little embellishment here and there, but that is allowed in order to communicate your impact and your influence. But you must never lie. You must make sure everything you put as an evidence and as people who can support it. So that is important. You need to choose the right references and recommendations. That is very, very important. Don't underestimate the importance of who is providing reference for you and who is providing recommendation for you. And then ensure that the referee understands the specific requirements by your scholarship body. Different scholarship bodies have different ways they want their references to be filled. So it's important that you ensure that your referee knows those specific requirements so that they don't just use one standard reference that they've been using for everybody they've been writing reference for to write reference for you. They must meet those specific requirements. And also prepare for the interview. That is very, very important. Prepare for the interview. I can't stress that enough. And if you don't know how to answer a question, find inspiration on Google or YouTube. Just type that question in Google. Somebody would have applied for that scholarship before and shared something online about how they answered that question or how they tackled that question. You will always find something. It's important to do that and to learn from those kind of experiences. So just a little bit of resources on where you can find current scholarship applications advertised. We make scholars have a lot of scholarships advertisements, and scholarshipdb.net for PhD also usually has a lot of scholarships from all over the world. And AutoAid, yes, has a lot of info about grants like travel grants, conference grants, project grants, and sareco.org/funds also have. And don't forget the basic ones, the Commonwealth, the Chevenins, the Erasmus Mundus, and all the other universities as well, which are very, very good scholarships. So that is that for me. These are some of the views from our campus in London. And thank you very much. I can take some questions. Moderator?
Well, thank you so much, sir. This has been a mind-blowing section. So, sincerely speaking, a lot of information are being passed across here now, things we aren't exposed to. And happy all these things are coming from someone who has been into the system, like who is so called into it. This is more like your own calling, because going through your profile, I can see a lot of achievement when it comes to all this scholarship attainment and all others. And we are so blessed to have you around. Thank you so much, sir. Now, we'll go through the comment section to take some of the questions that we have around here. So, sir, let me throw this to you. It's from Fumilayo Oduyemi. She's asking, she said, have been opportune to attend an induction ceremony of some engineers. And the key speaker laid so much emphasis on volunteering work. Now she now said she joined other participants to ask now that how do you go about sourcing for a volunteering work? Like how do someone like me who has no information, no knowledge about this volunteering work, how do I initiate sourcing for this volunteering work? You know, as you've mentioned now, you said it's very important we get ourselves into all this volunteering work. So how do we source for it, sir?
Thank you very much for that question. And I think that's a very important thing, especially in Nigeria, where those kind of jobs don't get advertised every time. But I can tell you, there are a lot of things you already do that are volunteering work. You do things for your professors, for your lecturers in school, helping them to search for papers online or things like that, which were things that I started with when I was in school. And that's volunteering work. And there are a number of NGOs that are looking for people to work for them, minor things that you can use your skills to do for them. It's because we don't have that orientation to want to do those things. If you go to those NGOs, you are not looking for any money. You are just here to learn and use your skills and develop your skills further. I'm sure there are a lot of NGOs that will be ready to take you on board in Nigeria. Even I have a lot of projects that I'm trying to do that if I get people who want to volunteer, they will learn a lot and they will do those things. So I think that is important when you are looking for volunteering opportunities. Just be open to support and help and serve your community around you, your church, your mosque, your those organizations. They have a lot of volunteering opportunities in them that you can weave into your story. Is about you understanding the transferable skills that you are getting from those places. Just serving as this secretary of a local organization in your church is a volunteering role. So it's you understanding what skills am I using here that I can use to support my application. So those are the things that I think is important for you to know. So there are a lot of things you are already doing that are volunteering and service and influencing people around you. Is being able to bring those things together in a way that forms a concrete story that differentiates you from the competition.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Jack. Now, a very quick one. I want you to answer this question too, because I think this might be going through a lot of people's mind, and I would like you to emphasize on it too. Igwe Root is asking, please, are registered, Haren, eligible for scholarship? Probably like a diploma nurse. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Are they eligible for scholarship too, sir?
Yeah, it depends really. And that is why I said there are different types of scholarships, and there are different organizations that are offering scholarships. So as a registered diploma nurse, definitely there will be scholarships that you are eligible for. It's you looking through the eligibility criteria and searching that really matters. I think there was a scholarship I won in 2013 to go to Malaysia for the Women Deliver Conference. And that was when I was still working in maternal and child health. And there were nurses that are registered nurses, diploma nurses. In fact, there was another scholarship I won in 2014, the ICM scholarship to go for the International Confederation of Midwives conference in Prague. There was a registered midwife, just registered midwife, not even a registered nurse, registered midwife. You know, they still do that in the north. So she was a registered midwife from Abuja, and she won that same scholarship as well to come to Prague. So yes, is you looking through the criteria for those scholarships that you can get them. There are different funding in different places. There are money lying around that are waiting to be won. So yes, just keep looking.
Okay, sir. So now to my dear listeners, let me still push this to us. We can all come up with all our questions and let's just push it coming. We may not really have time to take all the questions online now, but trust me, the local organizing committee will get a well-prepared ebook for us, which is going to contain all answers to all our questions. So it will be good for us to just get the questions coming at the comment section. They will be looked into. So I want to appreciate Mr. Oladayo Afolabi for this wonderful presentation. It's been really, really inspiring. And I hope we get to have much more of this contact to have this kind of conversation with you, because you know we see this as a real opportunity to have you to talk to us in detail about how scholarship opportunities can be secured and also. So we want to really appreciate you for coming on board even out of your tight schedule. We pray the Lord God Almighty is going to continue to be with you. Now, it's not easy to have won about 10 international scholarship and grants. Men, salute, sir. It's not easy. There are people like us are looking up to you, and I'm sure you'll be willing to offer your mentorship to our people too, whenever the need be. Are you here, sir? We can't hear you, sir. Can you unmute?
Yes, definitely. Thank you for the kind comments. And I don't know what to say really, but yeah, we thank God for His grace to be able to do all those things. And thank you also as organizers for bringing this up. I'm really, really happy to be able to share these things. And I do a lot of mentoring for a lot of people. I had a lot of my students from University of Maiduguri. I do a lot of mentoring for them. And also from many of my juniors from Lautech as well. In applying, there is somebody that is just starting his PhD in UK just last week or 2 weeks ago, who I supported in applying for the PhD scholarship as well. So I do that. You can always reach out to me. I've shared my Twitter link, my LinkedIn. Anywhere you see me, just send me an email. I'm always there. My details are all over the internet. You can always find them when you type my name.
Okay. All right, sir. So if you would permit every of the information you are willing to give out, I would like to include it in the ebook so people can have access to meeting you to have some sort of questions that might be bothering them too. I think that will be part of the benefits of those that will be having the ebook at the end of the section. So to my dear listeners, once again, I'm throwing this to us. The ebook is a must for us to get. Sincerely, trust me, it's going to be fully loaded because it's going to be very, very impactful. As you can bear me witness, a lot of information has been passed across, and we wouldn't want to in any way miss any part of it because they are too much to be missed. So, and that's why the local organizing committee is doing so much work on the ground to get us an ebook titled 301 Careers in Nursing, Diverse Field in Nursing, Discovering and Navigating the Pathway in the 21st Century, which is going to entail 301 careers in nursing, global opportunities in nursing, the postgraduate nursing students, scholarship opportunities in nursing, and mentorship in nursing. Well, I will have to step aside for my co-host, in person of Nurse Paul Israel, to come up to continue with the segment. It's been Ayewale Samuel. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nurse Ayewale. It's been a wonderful evening, and we've all learned so much. I want to thank every of our participants. So to buttress what Nurse Ayewale was talking about, the organizers of the conference, sorry, give me a moment. I'm trying to share my screen. So in line with everything we have done so far during this conference, the organizers of the conference, Faculty of Nursing Lautech and Institute of Nursing Research has put in place a form of mentorship for every one of us who would be interested. One of the ways by which we can get this access to this mentorship is by applying and subscribing to the Institute of Nursing Research Journal Club. I'm sure information on that has been shared to us. And also, I want to remind us once again about the Young Researcher Award. I'm trying to share my screen. A survey has been sent to all our pages. It is very important for us to fill it. Very, very, very important to fill the surveys that have been sent to our WhatsApp pages. I'm trying to share my screen about the Young Researcher Award. It's a contest for school leavers, young nurses, students to reward them on excellence based on their performance with on research. So I'm trying to share my screen to show us this. I'm sure we all have our, what is it called, our broker with us, and we can open there. So the abstracts, an abstract has been called for. What limit of what limit of 500? Deadline for submission is September 30, 2021. Selected abstracts will be notified by email on October 15, 2021. Selected abstracts will be presented orally at the scientific conference holding November 17 to 19, 2019. I hope we all have our brochure with us and we can see. I'm having difficulties sharing my screen, so I'm reading from my device here. Right, I said in our Brookfield, I'm sure we could see the first annual hybrid conference that is coming up in November. And the theme of the conference is Advancing 21st Century Nursing Practice through Cutting-Edge Research, Education, and Policy. The date is November 17th to 19th, 2021. There's call for abstract already, and many of us who have been involved in one or two researches should start submitting our abstract. The collection date for abstract is going to end June 30, 2021. And also, based on one of the presentations of our speakers, can you see my screen? I would like us to say something in the chat box if you could see my screen, please.
I see your screen as well.
You can see my screen, right?
Yes, yes.
All right, thank you. So the previous speaker who spoke talked about our involvement in building capacities in technology, not just the basic, the map is become the typing speed and all of that, but advanced health and nursing informatics training. So I want to talk to us about Sigma Pro. Sigma Pro is an organization that caters or that primarily healthcare professionals, nurses, doctors, medical practitioners, radiologists, build capacities in learning 21st century technology skills that can be harnessed towards achieving their big nursing dreams. As you can see on your screen, become a nurse leader in health and nursing informatics. This conference focuses on exposing us to about 301 career prospects in nursing. And as we know, nursing informatics is one of those fields that is amidst the 301 careers. In Nigeria, yet it has not been so much, how do I put it, explored. It has not been explored at all, let me just say. And with the recent legislation in the House of Assembly, the Red Chamber we are following, there has been a legislation on the use of EMR and HR in Nigerian hospitals, meaning the use of nursing informatics is going to be inevitable. And by default, all of us must build that capacity. And I'm sure Oladayo would bear testimony about the significance and the importance why we as nurses must build capacities in the use of technology, health and nursing informatics with 21st century reality. So Sigma Pro is an organization that organizes workshops, trainings for us to be able to learn this. Why should you choose to learn health and nursing informatics with Sigma Pro? First, it provides opportunities for hands-on practices. It's not just going to be theories. You have physical meetings with instructors from the organization, which majority of them are all healthcare professionals. They are doctors, nurses, and engineers. The engineers have to take the embedded system machine modeling part of it, the innovation part of it. You as nurses, I'm sure there are a lot of ideas that we have, but we don't know how to translate them into solutions that will provide solutions to problems we have in the hospital, about global health problems. So this training by the organization Sigma Pro and the training and workshops organized by them helps to translate our ideas into solutions, into products that could profile solution, and also it helps us to build capacities. Also, the career preparation part, as we have learned during this conference, you are able to also through this organization, you're able to connect to other healthcare professionals who have good technology skills, and you'll be able to collaborate to solve problems, to look at how to use technology in healthcare. As in this 21st century, it is quite inevitable for us. Just for example, as we've seen in the fintech world, that in that financial technology world, they've carved a niche for themselves there. So it is very inefficient. It is inevitable for us as nurses, as healthcare professionals, to also carve that niche for ourselves. It shouldn't be people who didn't study nursing, medicine, or pharmacy, radiology that should now come into healthcare to now be developing, how do I say it now, the devices that provide solutions to us. Imagine as a nurse, you have how do I put it? The technology skill, you know how to use a Python very well. You know how to use it to how do I put it now? The use of artificial intelligence in healthcare, building robots and all of these things. These are things we actually need as 21st century nurses. So it's very important for us to actually build these capacities. And lastly, to lead innovation as nurses, yes, we are supposed to lead innovation. We have the experience. We know what problem our patients, and as healthcare professionals, we are going through. So it's very important for us to actually consider this. Then also it helps us to also impact our lives and communities. So in order to take our time, I would encourage us to contact the phone number on our screen, or it's also in the brochure, to make inquiries about this. Sigma Pro goes to universities, schools of nursing, healthcare institutions to teach, organize workshops and trainings. So if you are interested, you can talk to your colleagues, approach Sigma Pro. They could anytime fix, they'll come teach within 2-3 days. Then you having the exposition, if you now want to go into the master class, then conversation with the organization would start. So I want to remind us once again about the Young Researchers Award. Please, if you have any research you have done, make sure you send it to the email, to the details provided in the brochure. So that will be all for now. I would like to welcome Nurse Adesuyi Emmanuel to give a closing remark on behalf of INR And Nurse Atoki Ruth should be preparing after Nurse Adesu Emmanuel to give a closing remark. And I want to remind us about our book. It's very, very, very important that we get the book because a lot of informations, website link, address, how to also navigate way through discipleship. You want to link up with any of our speakers, the details that everything would be in the ebook. So it's just for a token of 1,000 naira. In our various WhatsApp group, the editorial team has sent the information on how to get these ebooks to us. So please let us endeavor to get the ebooks. Every other question that we have would reflect in the ebook, and through the ebook we can have access to mentors. We can have access to mentors. And all. Okay, Nurse Adesui Emmanuel is not on seat, is not available at the moment. So is Nurse Atoki Roots online? Nurse Atoki Roots, are you there? Okay, I would like to welcome Nurse Akimbado Madam Larry to give a closing remark. Okay, yeah, I would remove. Let me unmute you. I'm trying to look at. Okay. Unmute yourself, sir.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you very much for joining us in this wonderful, insightful webinar. It's been 3 days of wonderful engagements with us all. We want to appreciate you for your time. Thank you very much for being with us these days. I'm sure you must have learned one or two things, and we are grateful for having your participation. I want to extend my appreciation to the Dean, Faculty of Nursing Lautech, for the opportunity given to us to partner together to organize this wonderful summit. I want to acknowledge the LOC members from Lautech for this wonderful time together working on the project. I am so glad to work with Lautech LOC at a time like this, and I want to say Lautech is actually producing a lot of wonderful students at a time like this. The commitment given by the LOC to this program is top notch. From the time we have been planning to organizing and doing everything, Lautech has been so awesome. I also want to appreciate our distinguished speakers, from our keynote speaker to every speaker that's connected with us from 6 countries, 14 speakers and all you did. I'm so sure our participants really enjoyed every part of the session. I want to appreciate you, our speakers. Thank you very much. And we'd like to appeal to you that once this relationship to actually continue, it's very likely we're going to be communicating you on one thing or the other, and we'd like you to please either call, as we would like to still keep in touch with you. And I want to appreciate our participants once again. Thank you very much. And I hope when next we call us for another program or summit or event or conference, we'll do well to attend. Yeah, on behalf of every leader of INR, I want to appreciate us also, the leaders in INR. You are doing so very well. It's not easy actually sacrificing, putting a lot of things online to make sure that we deliver this for the love of our country, Nigeria. Thank you very much, and I believe in you all. It's my pleasure, and I hope we'll see you next time. Thank you very much for being part. Thank you.
So thank you so much, sir. I would like to also welcome Atoki Ruth, the LOC chairman from Lautech team lead, to give a closing remark.
Thank you so much, Nurse Paole. Thank you very much. Yeah, I want to appreciate every one of us for making ourselves available for this summit since 3 days ago. My sincere appreciation goes to our father, the faculty and the Dean of Faculty of Nursing Science, Lautech Ogbomoso. I'm so grateful, and I appreciate the HODs. I appreciate every one of us that are around. I appreciate the high-end for bringing this opportunity to us. It's a very great privilege. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. I appreciate every participant. Thank you for making yourself available for the past 3 days. I know it was not easy, but thank you for making yourself available. And I hope we learned a whole lot. I want to appreciate our guest speakers. In fact, almost all of them were around for host section. They didn't limit it to their own section alone. This was it mean a whole lot to us. It mean a whole lot to us. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, ma. I appreciate all my LOC team members. Thank you so much. It was a whole lot, right? But it's worth it at the end of the day. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Faculty of Nursing Science. Thank you. I appreciate all Faculty of Nursing Science students also. I appreciate them. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for making yourself available. We hope to see you next time when we call for something like this. Thank you so much. God bless you.
All right, thank you so much, Nosatoki. So this will be the end of 3-day nursing career survey. Thank you to all participants and well done. See you at the top. Bye.
Generation immaculate and amicable, we are the source of hope to ailing ones and the foundation for building a healthy world. Together we shall stand. No seas are great, no seas are caring, an epitome of humility and service. We are specially ordained for this vocation. Yes, I'm proud to be a nurse. From near and far we have gathered with one goal, to uphold the good name of our profession, and for neatness and splendor, you for understanding, R for responsiveness, S for selfless service, I innovative and initiative, N for honorability, G for gentleness and love. No seas are great, no seas are caring, an epitome of humility and service. We are specially ordained for this vocation. Yes, I'm proud to be a nurse. To serve humanity, endowed with the art and science of caring, we are built on integrity and discipline that transcends through every generation. Immaculate and amicable, we are the source of hope to ailing ones and the foundation for building a healthy world. Together we shall stand. No seas are great, no seas are caring, an epitome of humility and service. We are specially ordained for this vocation. Yes, I'm proud to be a nurse. From the near and far we have gathered with one goal to uphold the good name of our profession and for neatness and splendor. You for understanding, R for responsiveness, S for selfless service, I innovative and initiative, N for honorability, G for gentleness and love. No C's are great, no C's are caring, an epitome of humility in service. We are specially ordained for this vocation. Yes, I'm proud to be a nurse. We are called to serve humanity, endowed with the art and science of caring. We are built on integrity and discipline that transcends through every generation. Immaculate and amicable, we are the source of hope to ailing ones and the foundation for building a healthy world. Together we shall stand. No C's are great, no C's are caring, an epitome of humility in service. We are specially ordained for this vocation. Yes, I'm proud to be a nurse. From near and far we have gathered with one goal to uphold the good name of our profession and for neatness and splendor.